iPhone 16 Pro Max up against the iPhone 17 Pro Max. I usually never recommend upgrading after a year, but listen to me. Upgrade. Hi, I'm Mark, and I was never the biggest fan of iPhones due to them repeatedly having the same issues year over year, whether it's terrible battery life, overheating, so on and so forth. A lot of bugs, especially with iOS 18. Oh my God, what was that? However, the iPhone 17 Pro Max changes that, so I want to go over some of the real world differences that you notice going from the 16 Pro Max to the 17 Pro Max, and you can find out should you upgrade or not. Upgrade. Let's start off with the cameras. Now, all the cameras on the rear are 48 megapixels on the 17 Pro Max, which does mean better detail, especially in ultra-wide shots. Of course, we also get that upgraded telephoto camera, which did technically get downgraded to a lesser reach, 4 times compared to 5. But the sensor is much larger, which means more light can enter and bring you better detail. Now, the selfie camera got the biggest upgrade in my opinion, which does make sense. Apple stated that they apparently have collected statistics that say 500 billion selfies are taken every single year. That's a lot. That's a lot. So it does make sense to upgrade the selfie camera. The sensor is now square, which means you no longer have to hold the phone landscape in order to take landscape selfies. You can do it by just holding the phone normally. Not only is it wildly more comfortable to hold the phone like this instead of like this when taking a group shot, a group selfie, but also half your arm is not going to end up in the photo like this, for example. You know, we've all seen these photos where the arm takes up like a third of the shot. Nice arm, bro. Now, the build quality did technically get a downgrade if you want to look at it that way. The 16 Pro Max is made from titanium, and the 17 Pro Max has a unibody aluminum construction. See, apparently Apple didn't know that titanium gets hot. Gets very hot. It's very bad at dissipating heat, which is the exact opposite of aluminum. But not only is this just aluminum around the borders like the titanium is on the 16 Pro Max, no, this whole thing is aluminum. I said titanium. I meant aluminum. Like everything that you're looking at right now is the actual body of the phone, except this little pad right here. That's not it. But like everything else, that's just made from one block of aluminum. So if you have the 16 Pro Max, the 15 Pro Max, or honestly even the stainless steel versions of the Pro Maxes back in the day, and you notice them getting very hot, and anytime you step outside, especially under the sun, the screen starts to dim like immediately. I've run into the situation with my 16 Pro Max all the time, like every day. And I cannot stop talking about how much better the 17 Pro Max is when it comes to heat management, managing heat, because of that aluminum and the vapor chamber that's inside the phone, which also helps keep the phone cool. This thing barely dims outside. I mean, it is like a night and day difference. But do keep in mind, all phones dim eventually. That's just their mechanism of kind of protecting themselves against overheating. So this does dim, but nowhere near as bad as the 16 Pro Max. Like, not even close. In fact, my 17 Pro Max outlasted my S25 Ultra and my Pixel 10 Pro XL with screen dimming. Now that is very impressive because the S25 Ultra, that's a pretty cool phone. Like, it stays cool, right? Not only is it cool, but it stays cool. But the 17 Pro Max, man, Apple went crazy on it. Now, of course, this also means holding the phones. The 17 Pro Max is the more comfortable phone, especially, like I said, it just doesn't get hot. So when you're holding it, you're not thinking like, oh my God, is this gonna blow up any moment now? Who knows? With this one, I definitely had a few of those moments. And by a few, I mean every day. Storage, RAM, performance. The 17 Pro Max now goes up to a whopping 2 terabytes of storage compared to the peasant 1 terabyte of storage, and the RAM got upgraded to 12 gigabytes up from 8 gigabytes. Under the hood of the 17 is of course the A19 Pro, upgraded from the A18 Pro. Normally when reviewing Android phones, this is the part where I say, don't upgrade. There's not really a difference, you know, going year over year. Like, for example, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 to the Snapdragon 8 Elite. Not a huge difference, not really noticeable, and that's why I said it. However, I don't know if it's just me, but iOS 26 runs so much better on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. I'm not even kidding. I was using iOS 26 on my iPhone 16 Pro Max, and I could have sworn Apple was gonna go bankrupt because iOS 26 was bombing on my iPhone 16 Pro Max. And if that was true for the iPhone 17 Pro Max, people would riot. However, when I unboxed the iPhone 17 Pro Max and started using it, it's a night and day difference. It's like it's running two different operating systems, even though both of these phones are running the latest update of iOS 26. And this one is just running it so much better. I don't know what it is, but none of the issues I'm having are on here. They're all on the 16 Pro Max. Now, battery life is another one of those things where I usually say, battery life is about the same, don't upgrade. But again, I think one of you guys must have made Apple mad or sad because they're like, here, you want battery life? Have all of it. Have all of it in the world. They gave us a phone that has a larger battery than a Samsung phone. Just let that sink in your mind for a second. I'm going to mark this day down in my calendar. 2025, the day iPhone has a larger battery than a flagship Samsung phone. So of course, that being said, the battery life on the 17 Pro Max is absolutely insane. Like, I cannot believe I'm putting Apple and insane battery life in the same sentence. I just hit my arm. That hurt very bad. I'm ending my days with like 45, sometimes even 50% of battery life. That's like the polar opposite of the 16 Pro Max. This phone barely gets me 6 hours of screen on time. Meanwhile, my 17 Pro Max gets me over 8 hours, like consistently. Like here, for example, I used 76% of battery life and I got over like 8 hours of screen on time. So that meant like I still had like 20% left over. This thing could have easily lasted me well over 9 hours of screen on time. That is crazy impressive for an iPhone. Charging speeds have also increased, but not as good as some of the Android competition. 0 to 50% in 30 minutes, 0 to 50% in 20 minutes. Not a massive deal here. Now, the same is true for MagSafe. MagSafe also got an upgrade from the 16 Pro Max to the 17 Pro Max. So this is using Qi 2. So if you're using Apple's MagSafe puck, you're getting 25 watts. However, if you're using some of the more third-party accessories out there, you're getting 15 watts. With here, it got upgraded to Qi 2.2. So now it doesn't matter if you're using Apple's puck or any third-party wireless charger. As long as it supports Qi 2.2, you're getting 25 watts of speed, so a nice 10 watt difference here. The display got upgraded and it now has an anti-reflective coating on it, which drastically helps against reflections by making them slightly darker. And the brightness has also gotten increased from 2000 nits to 3000 nits peak. Usually increasing the brightness, it doesn't really make a huge difference. Because of the glare, it's still going to be very reflective. However, if you increase brightness and improve glare in the same upgrade, that's a world of a difference. Overall, I'm very impressed with this year's iPhone. I mean, if you've been watching my channel for some time, you might be just as shocked as I am. Mark giving Apple praise? What? Well, yeah, I mean, they deserve it. This year, iPhone has changed more than it ever has changed ever before. So yeah, it is definitely a reason to give Apple praise. And again, this goes back to what I was saying earlier. If you own the 16 Pro Max, I 100% recommend upgrading to the 17 Pro Max. Believe me. So what do you guys think of the iPhone 17 lineup? Personally, I think it's also amazing that Apple finally gave the base model iPhone 120 Hz. That's a solid upgrade as well. I mean, for the first time, the base model iPhone is actually looking to be like a really great phone to buy. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. If you guys enjoyed today's video, definitely give that like. And if you're new here and you like no BS tech reviews, I always just say it how it is, then definitely subscribe. And as always, this was Mark from Mark's Tech. Adios.